Okay. I'll try to make this a little bit bigger. All right. Okay, so welcome everyone to building your Young Living business. So we're going to talk about some tips tonight for new people, for existing people, for people who might be stuck a little bit in their Young Living business right now. Hopefully this is going to give you a little bit of a good start or a good restart. Okay, so the first thing that I want to say though is if you're brand new to Young Living and you've just decided to build a Young Living business, I just want to tell you that I am so thrilled and excited for you because this has been a life changer for me and for my family. And it's been a life changer in so many ways, from just finding and feeling a sense of purpose in my life, feeling like I'm really doing something that makes a difference for people, but also the amazing people that we are now connected with, right? So some of you that are here tonight and those of you that'll be watching this after, it's just really fun to have a team of people that are working on growing and building something together and that are supporting each other. So if you're new, you might just be getting the taste of that or the sense of that. If you've been around, then we've got a really awesome thing. And so you're in a really good place. And of course, there's a beautiful opportunity to establish financial freedom, which is it's a huge mission of mine now, to help other people establish financial freedom, to break out of the chains of the 9-to-5 jobs or the financial stress or all those things that so many of us have been living with and dealing with in our lives. So you have made a great decision. I just want to tell you that. And I've been at this for 12 years now, not always doing it the right way, but these last couple of years have been extraordinary. And so I'm really excited for you, and I'm really happy to support you and help you in any way that I can. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on tonight. The first thing that I want you to do, if you have a notebook, actually before we even get into notebooks and taking notes and learning, if you have an oil nearby, and I just actually did this, but open up something, okay, and let's get settled, let's get grounded, let's get focused, all right, to actually take in whatever it is that we need to take in tonight. So we're going to cover a lot of different information, and not all of it's going to be right for you at this point, all right? There might be things that I'm going to talk about that are really good for you 3 weeks from now or 3 months from now. I'm going to cover it because we're all in different places, all right? So just if you can grab a bottle of oil, and I have Build Your Dream. I also have Clarity over here, and I have Stress Away and Lavender and Frankincense. So whatever's calling to you, whatever oil's calling to you, grab it, take a nice moment to smell that oil, right? Let that get to the limbic system of your brain, and then let's let the magic happen, okay? All right, so the first thing, and if you were on any of my original videos when we first started the Oily Dream Team, one of the first things that I covered was really getting clear about your why. So some of you know this, but some of you might think you know it, and you might need to really revisit it. All right, so I want you to think about why you want to build a Young Living business. What made you decide to do that? All right, and for some of you, it was initially financial. All right, for some of you, it was to have a different type of purpose in your life. For some of you, it was to have work that allows you freedom and flexibility, right? So why do you want to do this? And it's really important to connect with that. And then I want you to connect with it on a deeper level in terms of what it will do for you, for your life, for your family, for the people that you love. All right, and if you can write these things down. So why do you want to build a Young Living business? What will it do for you? What is the potential here for you if you do this, all right, and for the people that you love? And what is the potential for the world, right? So this is that higher purpose piece of the puzzle, right? What is it that this could actually do for the entire world, right? And I want you to think that way, right? I want you to think big. I want you to think globally, because we know that every person that we impact, every life that is enhanced or improved because of something that we share, that has a ripple effect, right? It has an impact on everyone associated with that person. And then those people have a ripple effect. So you might think that you're, just having a small impact on the world, but you might be really surprised if you really looked at all of the lives that have been touched or will be touched by what you do. All right, so this piece is absolutely imperative. If you don't know why you're doing this, then don't go any further yet, okay? You really have to know why you're doing this, and you have to connect with what the opportunity is for you, for your family, and for the world, okay? Next, I want you to think about what the biggest challenge might be, right? So I just got done telling you you're doing an amazing thing. You're gonna love this. It's a life changer. It's the greatest thing that I've ever done outside of having my children and my family, of course. But there will be challenges, right? And it won't always be easy. And I want to tell you that right from the get-go. And for those of you that have been working your Young Living business and maybe are stuck a little bit or aren't sure where to go next or aren't seeing the growth that you want, this could be one of those moments where you're having a challenge, all right? So I want you to think about it right from the get-go, right? So that you're prepared, so that you recognize, all right, there might be some challenges for me. There might be some things that are going to be hard for me, right? And we can work with that, right? If we're prepared, if we know and recognize those things, then when they happen, when it gets in our way, you'll actually be prepared a little bit more for it, okay? So I want you to write down what you think will be or is hardest for you in your business, right? So whether you're looking forward because you're just getting started and you're not really sure yet, think about what are some of the things that come into your mind. I'll call it the gremlin voice or the self-sabotage or saboteur, that voice that comes in with that critical thinking, that critical response to you doing a Young Living business, all right? And just take a moment to listen to the things that come up, all right? So for some of you, it might be, oh, geez, well, I don't know a lot of people, so I don't know how I'm going to do this, or I'm really, kind of an introvert, or I'm kind of shy, or, I don't know how to tell my family that I'm doing network marketing, or, right? So just take a moment to connect for you with what you think will be the biggest challenge in doing this business, all right? And then once you have that down, once you have, you might have several, you might have a long list, it's okay, we'll work through them. But then I want you to look at each one and determine what level, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how high of a challenge, how big of a challenge is that item for you, all right? So not knowing what to say, or feeling resistance from family, or being concerned about your ability to follow through, right? So a lot of people say, well, I did something like this in the past and I didn't follow through, or I don't have good, organizational skills. Whatever it is, just start to recognize what's really your top challenge, what's really the biggie for you, okay? And you can obviously come back and work on this again after we're done. So I'm going to go through. So recognizing what those challenges are important, and that's something that you're going to want to speak to your sponsor about. All right, we're going to want to talk about this. We're going to want to support and coach each other on it. So if you don't know people, we're going to help you with how you can actually network, how you can actually get people to come to your classes, even if you feel like you don't know anyone. All right, if you feel like you're going to have time issues or organizational issues or follow through issues, we will help you and guide you. All right, we're not going to do it for you. All right, so if you want to be a success doing this, it is going to be up to you, but you will have lots of support. There's lots of resources, so you'll never have to be completely on your own to figure it out, okay? The next thing that I want to tell you is that if you treat your Young Living business like a hobby, so will everyone else. All right, so if you treat it as something that you just do haphazardly and that you're not really looking at as a real business, then the people that you talk to, the people that you try to invite to classes or connect with, they're going to see it in that same light. All right, it's almost like a mirroring effect. All right, the way that you view your business is going to be the way that others will see it as well. So I'm going to suggest that if you really want to do well, then be serious. All right, and that doesn't mean no fun, serious. It just means be serious about this as a business, even if it's a super part-time. So we're all fitting this in different ways in our lives, right? Most people, most of those on the Oily Dream Team are working full-time jobs, and they're fitting this in, right? It's their part-time. So Jim Rohn says, it's really, he has a funny way of expressing it, and he says, I work full-time at my job and I work part-time at my fortune. Right? So a lot of us are doing that, right? We're working a full-time job while we're building our Young Living business. That's okay. It's still a business, not a hobby, not just a little thing, not something that's unimportant. All right. So that's number one, to really be serious about what you're doing and treat it like a business. Okay. And you've already made a great decision, so be proud of it. All right, we're going to help with that too. There's a bunch of books that I'm going to recommend. Actually, I'll mention them now just so that you have them. Actually, one's a CD, a DVD, a movie. So Rise of the Entrepreneur, which is an Eric Worre, and I know some of you have watched this already, but if you're not feeling proud of what you're doing, if you're feeling like you're going to get pushback, if you're feeling like, oh no, so many people are going to ask me if this is a pyramid scheme, watch this DVD. Okay, it explains network marketing. It explains why network marketing actually could very well save this country economically. And it gives you a completely, well, if you have a question about it or a concern, it really will put that to bed for you. All right, so Rise of the Entrepreneur. The 4-Year Career is a book that does something similar to that. All right, so this is actually, I have the Young Living version. So this explains network marketing. It goes through the myths. It debunks the myths of network marketing so that you can understand what it actually is. And it gives you a sense of what the economic opportunity is with network marketing. Okay, and then in the back, it talks about all of the different Young Living, Royal Crown Diamonds and et cetera that have made it, right? Have done it with network marketing. And then the third book for right now that I'll recommend is GoPro. All right, and this is a great book that gives you more of the how-to, right? So how to talk to people about network marketing, how to explain what you're doing, how to do follow-up, all of that is in here, all right? So, and he talks about the fact that you want to be a professional, all right? You want to treat it like a business, not like a hobby, all right? If you really want to achieve, if you have a goal that you've set, then treat it like a business and you will reach your goal. You will, okay? So, and speaking of goals, this is a really important piece. So even from day one, it's important to set goals, okay? Because that makes it real. That makes it feel more like a real business, right? If you just say, oh, I'm gonna start a Young Living business because I love the oils and it'll be fun and, I like talking to people, but you have no goals set, then, right, it might not feel real and it might not look real to others either. All right, so from day one, I want you to think about some goals, right? So that first goal might just be, well, I want to have my first class in the next 2 weeks, okay? Or I want to sign up my first new member within a month, okay? And make them so they feel a little bit of a stretch, right? And we're going to work on that at our next Builders Breakfast, actually setting goals and how to make our goals, how to figure out what the right goals are for us. But, set goals that are a little bit of a stretch for you. So there's a little bit there for you to work toward, but not so, unrealistic that you get overwhelmed or depressed about them. Okay, so just, you can look at these, generate a certain amount of income by a certain date, pay off a certain amount of your credit card debt by a certain date, reach a certain rank. So that's a really popular one. I know there's some of you that have actually shared with me, when you want to hit silver, when you want to hit gold, and it actually matters. So write those things down, okay? You should have a notebook or a journal or a book of some sort for your Young Living business where you can literally write this kind of stuff down. All right, you can write down your goals. You can keep track of, things that you're working on. I have a book that I keep, and this is actually recommended by Sarah Harnish in Game Plan. So if you don't have Game Plan's a great book for just getting started. All right, she's fantastic. If you don't know her story, check her out. Her website is oilabilityteam.com, or you can just search on Game Plan and you'll find her. But this is a great book. She calls it the Complete Strategy Guide from Starter Kit to Silver, right? And one of the things she talks about is having actually a book for all of your team, right? So you kind of have a place where you keep your information about each of your teammates or your team members, what they're working on. All right, so I have that. So, you know, when I talk with you and you tell me what your goals are, I'm putting that down. I'm keeping track of that too, because I want to help you manifest that. All right, so, but you should at least have some kind of a book or notebook where you're keeping that information about your goals. All right, and we'll talk more about that at the Builders Breakfast. So, but think about what your goal is right now. What's one thing that's coming to mind for you right now that you can set as a goal for your Young Living business? Okay, and write it down. All right, the next piece might feel a little bit hard, and it might be information you don't want to hear, all right? But I'm going to tell you because I don't want you to struggle. I don't want you to miss out the way that I did. So in the very beginning of my Young Living business, I treated it like a hobby. I didn't make any decisions about when I was going to do my Young Living business. I just kind of was very willy-nilly about it, very disorganized, and nothing, you know, nothing dramatic was happening for me, right? Nothing big was happening for me because I wasn't treating it like a business. So I actually wish that somebody would have said some of these things to me. So I'm going to say them to you. And I'm going to ask that you just believe and trust that I'm doing this because I think it is for your best interest and I think it's for good. And that's my only intention, all right, is to help you and support you and help to move you forward. So I'm going to tell you that it's going to be important to decide how much effort you are willing or you desire to put into this. All right, and it's okay if your effort is less than mine. We're not going to compare each other. That's not what this is about. It's just about being true to yourself about what you're willing to do. And the reason I say that is if you don't decide on this, you will waver. And you will have times where you put, you know, a good amount of effort in and times where you don't. And you're going to see what that does to your business and to your team. All right, and it's not good. It's not good. That was kind of my MO. It was like sometimes I was teaching classes and sometimes I wasn't. And sometimes I might call someone and follow up and most of the time I wasn't. Right, so I want you to think about what you're willing to do to reach your goals. And Linda, I'm going to thank Linda Krieger because she sent out an article, and I'll share it with anyone who is interested, about how it's not just about setting your goals and what you want to achieve in your life, but it's about knowing how much you're willing to suffer for that, right? How much are you willing to sacrifice to reach that goal? Okay, and that might sound like a really yucky word, and you might not want to hear that, like I said, right? Because your life might be full, and you might be thinking, I can't sacrifice anything else. I've already sacrificed everything. But if you want to create a change in your life, there's usually a point in time where you have to sacrifice something to get to that other place, right? If it's that old saying, you know, if you keep doing the same things, you're going to keep getting the same results. And if you want to create a change, you're going to have to change something. All right, so this is going to be different for everyone in terms of what you're going to need to do in terms of effort, right? But for some of us, it might mean, all right, well, if I'm wanting to teach 3 classes a month, what nights am I willing to do that? And does it mean that I have to give up watching my favorite TV show on those nights? Right? Or does it mean I'm not going to be able to sleep in late on Saturday mornings if that's the time that I have available to do a class, right? Or to do follow-up, okay? Am I going to be willing to put the effort forth to get out of my comfort zone? Am I actually going to be willing to try to call people to do follow-up if that feels uncomfortable right now? Okay? And the reason I say make a decision is because if you make a decision right now and say, I am going to do whatever it takes to reach my goal, And it's going to be my goal that I set. So it's going to be realistic for me. And again, everyone's different. Like Sarah Harnish, she had a really strong, really high goal. So she did I think it was 2 classes every week when she got started. She did a Friday night class and a Saturday morning class every week, even though she was getting up at 4 or 3 a.m. to be at the radio station for 4 a.m. to work, all day and then take care of her kids and everything else. She made that sacrifice because she had a vision, right? She saw where she wanted to go with her business, and she made the decision, I'm going to do this. So same thing, your decision has to feel right for you, but just make a decision, okay? And say, yes, I'm going to teach classes on this night, and so that means that I'm going to give up whatever, right? Whatever would need to be given up at that time, okay? Make a decision, and then your brain doesn't have to think about it. Your brain doesn't have to say, oh, should I do a class this week? Should I do a class that month? Should I, right? Your brain doesn't have to do any of that because you've already decided. You decided, all right, I'm going to do what it takes to get to this point because this is what my goal is. All right, and just so you know, this is the same kind of stuff that I do with people that are working on health goals, right? So I just finished a 5-week sugar program helping people, recover or get through sugar addiction. And I said, a big piece of it, right, is just making a decision that you're going to do this, that it's not this, wishy-washy, like, all right, well, am I going to eat this today or am I going to not? Or, right, because that takes so much mental energy every day to make the decision, am I going to have dessert or not have dessert? Just make the decision, right? If your decision is, you know what, every day I'm going to have a dessert after dinner, great. Just make the decision so you don't have to have that whole mental, exercise going on every day of your life. Should I or shouldn't I? So it's the same thing with your business, okay? When you set your goal for what you want to do, when you decide, okay, I want to have this many classes a month, then just make a decision about your effort and say, yeah, I'm going to do this, all right? Because there's going to be a payoff at the end that's going to be so worth it, okay? All right. So here's now where we get into the nitty gritty, right? So when you say, all right, I have this goal, this is what I want to reach. I want to reach this rank, or I want to pay off this credit card, or I want to be able to go on a family vacation that's paid for in full, no charging anything. Then you can say, all right, what's it going to take for me to get there? All right, and what am I willing to do? So this is the piece of saying, all right, this is how many classes I'm going to do each month. Now, don't start freaking out about, oh my gosh, but where am I going to do those classes and who's going to come to just decide how many classes feel right for you to do each month. Okay, for some of you that might be 1. Okay, you do need to do classes, and if you're new, we help you with that, right? So you don't have to do them on your own, but you do, if you want to grow your Young Living business, you will need to do classes, all right? They could be one-on-one classes if you're more comfortable with that, right? It just might mean a few more, right, to actually get people on your team. But just make a decision. How many classes per month? And it might be one number right now, and 3 months from now, you might be flying and saying, yeah, I can actually do 3 classes a month now, or 4 classes. Okay, so write down how many classes a month you're willing to do. The number of people that you'll talk with. All right, so one of the things that we shoot for is when someone gets a starter kit and they say, yeah, I want to do the business, we try to have them actually talk to 10 people in that first week, right? We try to get them to, share with people that are close to them, family, friends, their best buddies, and let them know what they're doing. So they just start getting comfortable talking about it, okay? Same thing with your emails, Facebook posts, whatever else you're going to do for marketing. If it's a business, you do marketing, right? So how are you going to do that? And how often? Don't get overwhelmed, all right? And don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Don't compare yourself to me, all right? I'm in a place where I can do a little bit more of that right now. I have a little more time freedom to do those things. So if you're going to send out 1 email a week or 1 email a month, that's okay. Just be consistent with it, all right? Figure out what works for you, what's actually going to be doable for you, and then you've made the decision. So put in the effort, okay? So a simple strategy that's doable for you, that allows you to be consistent, and don't compare yourself, Okay? Everyone is different in the way that they, the way that they grow their business. And there were some of you that might be watching this or watch the recording, and you know that we've had discussions where you said, well, you wanted to get to silver in 6, and it didn't happen because you know what? You have a busy life, and you have a full life, and you have children that need you, or grandchildren that need you, or elder parents that need you. And it's okay. We all have a different timeline, and whatever yours is okay. All right? Just figure that out for yourself and take the steps that you want to take. Okay? All right. The other thing that I think is so important is trusting your intuition. And Denise and I were just talking about this the other day, because I've been doing this more and more, and it's been awesome. It's been really fun. So when you trust your intuition, you will find that things just flow. And what I mean by that is, when you're trying to grow your Young Living business, you don't want to be that person that's always talking about oils, or that's always trying to get someone to order an oil. You don't want to chase after people and try to convince them that they need essential oils, or that they need Ningxia Red, or that they need Thieves Cleaner, right? You want to just be your authentic self and trust your intuition when it feels right to talk to someone about it, okay? And we're never selling, we're always just sharing. So if you have someone who's talking to you and they have a particular issue, you could share how an oil might be helpful for that, right? As long as it's not a medical issue or a diagnosis, right, that you're prescribing an oil for. But just be authentic. And when you're being your authentic self, you will sense from your intuition when it's a right time or a good time to talk with someone and when it's not. And don't push it, okay? Just trust, right? Just trust. There are people, I love talking about the oils. I could talk to to any person about oils, but I don't, all right? When it feels right, I do. Okay, same thing if you have someone that you think might be interested in doing the Young Living business. You will get more and more comfortable with talking about that. And that's where I'm coming in now and really trusting my intuition. And it's been a beautiful gift, because there are people that I've reached out to, some of you that are watching this, that it was purely intuition that said, you should call Linda, or you should talk to that person. And I just did. I said, all right, well, I'll do it. They might think I'm crazy. They might not want to talk to me. They might say no, but I'll do it. And it's been great. And it's been great, not just for me in terms of, having those conversations, but for those people, right? To be able to have that opportunity and to learn about the oils and potentially have their lives changed. So trust your intuition and just trust the process, right? Yes, we want to set goals. We want to treat it like a business. We want to be serious, but we want to be in flow, right? And what flow says to me is that when I'm doing things from an authentic place, when I'm listening to my guidance, the doors will open, right? The right doors will open. Okay, so that's, to me, a really big piece of this, right? Is to not just be so focused on the business that we lose sight of our intuition. Okay, so it's a real melding there, all right, of following the steps, but trusting your intuition and staying authentic in everything that you do. And people will feel that, okay? They will feel that. They will sense that when you call that person because you were guided intuitively. And I'll even say that. I'll say, I just can't stop thinking about you, and, with regard to, whatever it is. And they know that I'm telling the truth, so they're willing to listen. Okay? So trust your intuition. So let's take a sip of water, sip of tea, whatever you've got. Smell your oil. We're going to dive into some simple steps for getting started, right? So I told you there's a lot. So this is the part where we're each at a different place, okay? And so you might be jumping in, and you might even find that if you've been doing your business for a while, there might be things that you never did that you'll say, oh, I wonder if I could actually do that now, okay? And you probably can. So the simplest first step is to order your starter kit if you haven't already, right? I think everyone watching this will have their starter kit by the time that they're watching this, or pretty close to it. So that's number one, right? You need a starter kit to do a Young Living business. And why? Well, for one thing, that's what allows you to be a distributor. But the second thing is that you need your oils to share with people. And you need your oils to use and create your own stories, right? So that you can share with someone firsthand what you use that oil for, what your experience was, okay? The second piece is to sign up for Essential Rewards at the 100 PV level, all right? And if you're not sure about that, we can talk in more detail, so you can speak with your sponsor about that directly. You do have the option of doing a 50 PV level of Essential Rewards, but if you're building a business, what I'm gonna suggest to you is that at that 100 PV level, you're doing two things. You're investing in your own business and your own use of the Young Living products, right? So that you can be a product of the products, all right? You're also guaranteeing that if people order under you, you will qualify for commissions, all right? So those are two pieces of doing the 100 PV Essential Rewards that I think are really critical, because I hate to see people miss out on commissions because they didn't get the 100 PV that month. Okay, now there's more detail to that. Like, you don't actually have to do your 100 through Essential Rewards, but from my standpoint, you also want to be doing what you want your people to emulate. All right, so you really want your people to be on Essential Rewards, and you want your people to be doing 100 PV, because that means that they're changing their lives. They're changing the products in their homes. They're changing what they're giving their families, all right? So that's the level that is really the life changer, all right? And if you're not doing that, guess what? That mirroring thing that we talked about, your people probably aren't gonna do that either, okay? And I can tell you, over 12 years, that's been absolutely true for me, all right? So it's a commitment, yes, but if you look at it as if, okay, so I'm starting a business, and it cost me $160 to start the business, and I got a whole kit of oils and a diffuser. So it really, you know, what did it really cost you to start your business? And then I'm going to invest $100 a month in that business. Is there any other business on the planet that you know of that you could start and only have to invest $100 a month? Probably not. Okay, so that's another way to look at it. And I actually had someone who said that to me. They said, oh, so basically for $1,200 a year, I'm running my own business. And sure, there's other costs. You know, you can, you know, count, you know, all the different expenses that you might have for your printing things, or for, you know, having classes and having food, right? There's other expenses that might come in, but that's really the first piece, is getting your starter kit and getting on Essential Rewards at that 100 PV. All right. The next thing that I highly recommend, especially if you're brand new, is to send an announcement to your family and friends. Now, some of you will kind of, you know, skirt away from that because you might have that concern about network marketing and sharing what you're doing with family and friends who might have a different reaction to it. So again, where'd it go? Watch this, okay? This really took any concern of mine in telling people what I was doing, it completely took that away. Any hesitation that I had, because after watching Rise of the Entrepreneur, I was truly convinced that what we're doing is the best possible thing that anybody could do to create financial freedom. All right, so we're sharing something that is health promoting. We're sharing something that could give others the potential for financial freedom. We're doing something that's connecting people together. We're educating. It's awesome. All right, so send an announcement to your family and friends. It could be an email. I would recommend it as an email. It's also great to call people, but you can just let everybody know what you're doing and let them know how they could support you, or let them know how they could learn more. So if you're going to do a newsletter, an email newsletter, or if you're going to have a monthly class or a weekly class, let them know about that so that if they're interested, they can learn more from you. All right, or they could refer people. And I tell you to do this because I can't tell you how many people I know that didn't do it. You know, they're like, well, I'm just going to build my business on the down low, and then when everything's great, I'll tell all my family and friends. Well, guess what? Their family and friends signed up under other people, all right? And we're getting essential oils from strangers rather than being connected to their own family member, okay? So you want to tell your family and friends, because if they do learn about essential oils or want to learn about essential oils, I'm sure they'd want to learn about it from you, okay? And that could be a blessing for you and a blessing for them, all right? So let people know, and again, be proud of what you're doing, all right? And if you're not yet, then you've got some reading to do or some DVD watching to do, okay? All right. Then call your closest friends. So call your 3 closest friends right on the phone and share your excitement, okay? And that's because when you get your starter kit, when you first start out, not that we're not all excited. I'm pretty excited about what I'm doing. But when that first starter kit that you get, I don't think there's anything like that, right? It's like Christmas or like your 5th birthday party, or, you know, just, so when you get your starter kit, call your 3 closest friends and share your excitement, okay? Call them personally and just let them know what you're doing and share how excited you are, okay? And then make a list of 100 people. So at one of our builders breakfasts, I had everyone do this, and they started out with, oh gosh, I don't know 100 people. Are you crazy? I can't think of 100 people. And I said, all right, well, take out your phone and go to your contacts, all right? And literally, that's how you do it. And you make a list of 100 people, because what that does is it helps you to see, oh, I actually do know a lot of people. So if you have that hesitation or that worry or concern about who you could invite to classes or who you know to talk to, right then and there, you've dispelled that, all right, by making a list. Okay, so make that list of 100 people. Your sponsor will help you with other things that you do with that list, right? So qualifying the list and, you know, identifying your top 20 people that actually would be interested in learning, that sort of thing. But just make a list of 100 people and set the date for your first class. All right, so these are the simple steps to getting started. You get your starter kit, you get on Essential Rewards, you let your family and friends know what you're doing, you call your best friends, you make a list, and you schedule your first class. Okay, if you've been doing Young Living for a while and you never sent that email to your family and friends, you can still do it. All right, we have somebody in our group right now who's kind of restarting, right? And so that's a great opportunity to say, hey, everybody, I'm going to be starting up classes again, or I'm going to be starting new classes, you know, to teach and educate on Young Living products. And maybe you're going to feature something different. Maybe you're going to feature the Thieves cleaning products, or maybe you're going to feature Ningxia Red. All right, so you still have that opportunity to do that, to make those connections and put that out there. All right. Okay, then we talked about I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on this because I have actually a little worksheet that I'll send everyone and I'll share in the Facebook group. But, you know, after you've scheduled your class, your first class, you want to call the people you most want to be there. You want to create a separate Facebook page. All right, so I've talked with some of you about this. You really don't want to overload your friends and family by using your personal Facebook page for your business. All right, because people kind of get a little annoyed by that. All right, so create a separate page. When you send out that announcement, you could have that link in there to say, oh, and by the way, I have a Facebook page where I'll be sharing information about the oils or about Young Living. Here's how you can go and find that and follow me. Okay, so you give them the option of being part of it. Okay, and then after you've called everyone that you want to invite to your class, so calling the 20 top people and your 3 best friends, then you can post it on Facebook. All right, create an event and do all of that. But call people first. All right, and I think most of you know that it's the most effective way to get people at your classes, and it's really good training for you. I put a call script in the Facebook group, so I put something in there to help you with what to say, how to make those phone calls easily and comfortably. So, and there's a lot of that in GoPro. So if you're nervous about that piece, get GoPro. And just so you know, I don't subscribe to all of his language. So there's some techniques that he puts out there that I have a softer approach, I guess. So, but there's good ones. There's really good content, and there's stuff that you'll say, yeah, I would never say that. That's okay. All right, but take what you would use and leave the rest. But he gives you some good ideas and scripts for what to say when you're on the phone with people, inviting them to a class. All right. You also want to learn how to sign someone up. So if you actually bump into someone and you tell them, oh yeah, I'm doing Young Living and I'm learning about oils and I'm teaching, oh yeah, well, I want to order something. All right, you want to at least know how to help someone place an order, okay? If you don't, it's okay. You can call your sponsor or call me. We'll walk you through it. But, you know, that's one of the things, you know, so think positive. Think that everyone's going to want to order essential oils, and, you know, make sure you know how to show them how to do that, okay? Learn your virtual office. So that back office piece online is where you place your orders, but it's also where you have all kinds of resources and learning opportunities. So learn the virtual office. Hopefully your sponsor will go through that with you. But that's a tool. There's lots of things in there that you can use for posting, for sharing, for learning about the products. There's tons of stuff in there. And then order the books that I mentioned. So Game Plan is a great one just for getting started. There's a script in there for the 101 class for doing your initial class. And, you know, I still use that script today, so it's a great script. She has a new version of the book, so when you order, you'll get the new version. The 4-Year Career and GoPro. All right, so those are 3 books that I wish someone had beat me over the head about reading 12 years ago. Because I've only read, well, Game Plan I got a few years ago, but the other 2 I've only read in the last year, right? And I really wish that I had read them sooner, okay? So really important. And if you're in, you know, you'll see me mention them again. You'll see me because I'm going to just kind of beat you with a stick until you read them. It makes a difference, all right? Leaders are readers. So if you want to lead a team, if you want to grow a business, you do have to be willing to read and learn, okay? And then I'm going to send you a little getting started checklist. I'll post that in the group so you'll be able to review the other steps in there, okay? But these are just kind of, you know, the basic 1, 2, 3. After your first class, follow up. So your sponsor will help you with that and help you with how to follow up, but there's also a follow-up script, how to do fantastic follow-up in our group. So there's a files section on the left-hand side of the Facebook group. Poke around in there and you'll see some different things that I've shared to help you. And just stay in touch with everyone, right? That might sound daunting or crazy unless they're people that you see regularly, but anybody that comes to a class, put them on a list, an email list, a phone contact list, whatever you're going to use to reach out to people, and try to remember something unique about them. Right, so write down something, whether it's the oil that they most enjoyed at your class, or whether it's, you know, just something personal about them, that they wanted to use oils for their pets or children, or, right? So write down something and stay in touch, all right? Because every single contact that you make is important. Whether they order a starter kit or not, they're still important. You never know when that person is going to be ready to create a change in their life. And you want to be the one that's been staying in touch with them so that when they are ready, they know exactly where to go, okay? And then make sure after your first class that you meet with your sponsor. Hopefully they're there, and you can do that right after your first class. That's typically how we would do it, so that you can review and set your next set of goals, okay? And I think this is the last slide. Yes, okay. So right up there with trusting your intuition is investing in yourself, investing in your business, and investing in your people. All right, when I say your people, I mean your new members or members of your team, right? Your business is only going to grow as much as you grow. And I forget which book it's in or where I heard that or read that, but it's really true. Your level of personal growth will be directly correlated with your level of success and professional growth in network marketing. It's just the way that it works. All right. So invest in learning about yourself, whether that's through reading the books that I mentioned or reading other books, whether it's going to workshops or events, whether it's working with your sponsor or with me or whoever you can, to help you to get better at the things that you recognize from a business standpoint you need to work on. All right. So I think I posted a comment or a message a week or two ago, and it said, instead of, I think this was from Jim Rohn, and it said, instead of wishing it were easier, wish that you were better. Right? So just recognize the things that you need to improve on without beating yourself up, right? And then work on those things. Develop yourself, okay? Do what you need to do to grow in those areas, okay? So, and learn about your oils, of course. You don't have to know everything. In fact, it's better if you don't. It's better not to be the expert at the front of the room. So you're going to learn about your oils as you use them and as that information comes to you naturally. Be careful. There is there's a new addiction, I'll call it, which is watching videos on essential oils, right? And some of us can do that for an hour a day or 2 hours a day, and we don't get any of our business growth actually taken care of because we're just learning all the time. And learning is wonderful. I love to learn. I have that problem myself where I can get addicted to learning, but just know you don't have to know everything. And it's actually better to be someone that knows enough, you know, and a little bit more than the people that are coming to your class or the people that you're talking to, but you can honestly say, you know what, I don't know everything, but here's where you can go to find that out. So you empower people. And that's, I think, a much better approach when you can empower them to find their own answers. Okay, last 3 things. Write your Young Living story. So this I found to be really important when you do start teaching your own classes, or if you are teaching your own classes. It makes such a difference when you can tell people your story. So what got you started with Young Living? What made you convinced that Young Living was the best company and had the best products? And, you know, what was your experience, you know, that compelled you to want to share this with other people? Okay, that makes a difference when you share that story with other people. And sometimes that's the only thing you have to share with them, right? It's just like if you go to a restaurant and you absolutely love it, and then you see your best friend the next day and you say, oh my gosh, I went to this new restaurant. It was so fabulous. The service was great. The food was amazing. The atmosphere was fantastic. That person's going to go to that restaurant, right? Unless they have like crazy food allergies like me and they can't eat there, but they're going to go to that restaurant. So it's the same thing when you tell someone your Young Living story and you're authentic, right? And you're coming from that place of sincerity, they're going to develop an interest, right? They are, and they're going to want to learn more. Okay. And you never know who it's going to inspire, right? You never know whose life that's going to change just sharing your story. So that's a really important piece, is your Young Living story. And you might have many. So as years go on, like I have a few different stories of Young Living and how essential oils and Ninja and Thieves have changed my life and my family. So you get to a point where depending on what you're teaching or what you're talking about, you might use a different story. That's okay. But right now you should have your first Young Living story. Okay. And then reevaluate your why. So over time, you're going to reevaluate your why because things might shift. All right. Like for me right now, honestly, what has me most jazzed up, what I am most excited about with doing this business is what I see with all of you. And so like, even if tomorrow I was making $1 million a month, I would still want to be doing this. I would still want to be here with you because this is the good stuff, right? Seeing other people realize their potential and seeing other people feel like they're doing something purposeful and seeing other people change other lives. So you're going to reevaluate your why over time because it might change. Like right now, your why might be, wow, I want to get out of debt, or I want to have some extra money to enjoy life or to travel or to invest or to donate, right? When you're actually making that money, then your why might change, right? You might have a new why. So just be prepared to reevaluate your why and get even more excited about what you're doing. All right, so thank you so much for being here. I'm going to ask and suggest that you post any questions or anything that you need support around. You can post in the group. All right, so if you're questioning any of this, I'll make these slides available, so I'll share them as well so you can review them. This recording will also be available, so if you want to watch the whole thing again, you can. And just check in with your sponsor. All right, so anything in here that you feel like you need a little support around, check in with your sponsor and just say, hey, you know, I watched the class with Kelly and I want to work on this. Can you help me with that? Okay? All right, everybody. So glad that you were here or that you're watching the recording, and looking forward to seeing you all in the group.